Hello one and all, this is Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, once again with another video game first impressions. This time around, Just Cause 4 for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Now, as expected, this is the fourth entry in the Just Cause franchise, a franchise that is mostly known for the absurd antics our revolutionary Rico Rodriguez can perform with a simple tether, a simple grappling hook. The tether is an object that allows Rico to tether things together, be it objects like cars and walls or actual human beings. And one of the best things about the Just Cause franchise that continues with Just Cause 4 is the over-the-top destruction that is available. You can blow things up, you can pull things together to cause them to blow up. You can cause massive destruction and damage to the enemies, your adversaries. Of course, Rico's wingsuit is back, so you can fly through the skies. He has his parachute that you can switch between, going from tethering his way across the map to parachuting up and then wingsuiting down, or vice versa. One of the biggest things that is attached to this version of Just Cause is the dynamic weather effects and the tornadoes that can come out of nowhere. And witnessing your first tornado in this game is one of those awe-inspiring moments where you don't expect it, you're just surprised to see it, and then you're just like a moth to a light, attracted to it. You have to go and see how you can tackle this tornado, or if this tornado is going to tackle you. It is definitely one of the best features I've seen in an open world game in quite some time. Now, for those who haven't played a Just Cause game in the past, one of the major things about Just Cause is the running and gunning. And one thing I had a big problem with in Just Cause 3 was the bullet sponge enemies. The fact that they could take literal headshots and it wouldn't kill them. In this game, one of the first things I pulled off was a headshot. It killed an enemy immediately, and I was so happy. And the weapon variety is incredible, from just regular SMGs to a literal wind gun. You know, it's like a giant leaf blower. The narrative, the plot, the story has always been one of those things that it's just there just to keep the game rolling along. It doesn't really add much to it. You don't become enamored with the characters or the voice acting, you know, or even the supposed emotional high points. And Just Cause 4 doesn't do anything to kind of rectify that thus far. It might get better later on, I don't know. One of the biggest issues with Just Cause games has always been the technical issues. I haven't had any major crashes like I did in Just Cause 3. The only issues I've had with the game are solely graphical, and it's usually dealing with a vehicle. I've had cars, when I get out of them, continue to move. Probably one of the craziest moments happened during a mission where I was trying to land a helicopter, and right when the helicopter landed, it exploded. Though it does have its technical issues, though it does have its glitches, Just Cause 4 is a lot better from an optimization standpoint and a performance standpoint than Just Cause 3 ever could have been, even with the updates. Stuff like the stunts that were a staple in building up and upgrading Rico's abilities and equipment are now kind of dumbed down. They are simply just rings that you have to go through in certain situations. Like if you want to complete this wingsuit stunt, the equipment upgrades, which are more layered this time around, but don't really feel like a necessity when you're upgrading. You could pretty much stick with the initial setup of what's offered to you instead of trying to mix and match things and get the same experience that you would if you went out of your way trying to upgrade everything. The lowest point for me thus far in this game is unfortunately the mission structure. Just Cause 4's missions are essentially the same that they were in Just Cause 3. And by that I mean these missions are as mundane and as stereotypical and prototypical of last gen open world games. You will have simple missions of escort these people to this place. You will have a mission where you have to hack a security system and wait for the person that you're hacking it toward to finish hacking as you fight off wave after wave of enemies. And it's pretty much those same ones. You know, you free some captives, and you do this and you do that. It's like the same type of mission. I played probably in an effort to progress the story, because you have to gain recruits and armies and militia to a certain extent. And the only way to get these people to rally behind you and get enough forces that you can push forward in any direction in the map that you want to is by completing these story missions or these sub missions. Overall though, if you've enjoyed the previous Just Cause games, there's no reason you won't love this. This is Just Cause through and through. They have not lost their idea of what makes a fun Just Cause game. For people that haven't played it, I definitely say give it a rental. Out of all the Just Cause games, to me, this is probably the most accessible. It's one of those games that is simply mindless fun for a little while. And if you feel the need to stick around and play through the story, they give you enough to keep you busy. So there you have it. This has been Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, with another video game first impressions. Just Cause 4 for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Now, if you don't mind, I will take Rico. We will go into the highest mountain. We will look across the sea. We will see that tornado just ravaging the townspeople, ravaging whatever area it's in. We will fly over to that tornado. We will look that tornado in its windy eyes and slap that tornado. And when that tornado feels the powerful hand of a revolutionary, it will have no choice but to cry out, "Oh Lordy!"